time to do a little bit of reflection of the past month and then look forward into the next. So I've spent the last couple of days doing a little bit of a reset, cleaning the house, tidying up in here. I could probably do a little bit more cleaning up in here, but it's at a good point. I'm not trying to burn myself out, so I did what I could and then moved on. Now it's time to sit down, plan out a little bit of next month, look at what I did this month and see what I can maybe do better. I'm also going to be reflecting on some of my favorite things from the month. Oh, do you have some favorite stuff? I feel like when you're moving all the time, then you don't take the time to like appreciate all the work that you're putting in and all the moving that you're doing. I can give myself a little bit of claps, a little bit of snaps, you know? And I encourage everyone else to do the same. Also, this is Munchkin. She will be all up in my space or all up in the microphone space because she does not want to just chill on her bed. Yes, you want to be the center of attention. It is all about you, I know. So first things first, I'm going to look at my accomplishments for the month. One of the things I'm proudest of is that I put out my first video on this channel in a long time. I made like one video like 3 years ago or something, and that was the only thing on this channel for a long time. But the video I put out last week is the first video that is like signifying myself like starting, actually committing to doing this. So expect videos from me on a weekly basis now, this included. And on top of that, I have like 3 or 4 videos already filmed. They're not ready to go yet, but they are filmed. And all I need to do is do a little bit of editing. That's it. Another thing I'm proud of is I was able to start consistently streaming on Twitch again. I streamed many years ago pretty consistently, but I did mainly gaming then. And now I'm doing more co-working. I use the Pomodoro method, which is like a set time for work and a set time for break, and then you just cycle between them. For me, it's just a much healthier way for me to work because otherwise I'll just keep working with no breaks until I'm very hungry or my bladder's about to burst or, you know, many things that my brain can just turn off while I am hyper-focused and on working. And then I burn myself out. So I'm trying not to do that. So I've been doing that method on stream with other people because on top of needing the little Pomodoro method, I also need body doubling because my brain cannot just be personally motivated to work. I have to know or assume that there are people on the other side working as well. And I've been having so much fun and it has helped me so much in a healthy work balance, I feel like, and I just can't speak enough praises about it. It's been very good for me. So I've been able to consistently do that, and I do want to add a little bit of gaming into my schedule, but I'll talk a little bit more about that later. Another thing is I've started going to the gym consistently again as well, and I am approaching it with, I think, a healthier mindset because I feel like a lot of times when I'm trying to start a habit or I am starting a habit, I go in so hard and I think of like, okay, well, now that I'm going to the gym, I'm going to be going 4 days a week and this day's going to be this and this day's going to, and I like plan it all out way too hard and it's just like way too much thinking about the whole thing. And I have brought it down to I'm just going to the rock climbing gym and I'm rock climbing. That's it. Because if I am thinking too much of, is today a leg day? Is today a pull day? Is today a push day? Do I have to think about what workout I'm doing? Like there's too much thought process and it will make me like procrastinate going or not want to go because I think that there's too much work involved. Whereas when I put it down to the simplest thing, go to the rock climbing gym and climb, that's the only thing I need to do is to get my blood pumping, then I am more likely to do it. And when I am going to the gym, I can feel it in my mental health. So probably that's also been helpful for me being consistent in other things because I am getting regular exercise. I also had a successful market in the little like art stuff that I do on the side. And technically it was more of like a garage sale thing where I was selling some of like my cosplay as well as like just some random nerdy stuff I have. But I also like half set up the table with garage sale stuff and then half set up the table with like my art and my stickers and stuff that I have. So I did pretty good. I feel like I made a decent amount of money for just one event. I also didn't have insanely high expectations for this event because it was a garage sale. So I was thinking people were coming more for that kind of thing rather than for stickers and stuff. So I was very surprised when so many of my sales were stickers. I did sell some of my cosplays too, which is good because I'm so glad they're going to a new home. But also because I feel like I didn't put too much pressure on myself for this event. I didn't get myself into like a tizzy beforehand, because normally I'm like trying to make sure I have a bunch of new art. I have to reprint a whole bunch of stickers and have like all new inventory and like really stock up. And this time I just went with what I already had in stock. So it was so nice that I didn't have to put myself through that stress, and it was no one else is doing it, making me do it. I do it to myself. So it was also probably a good learning thing for future markets. And lastly, I went to a silent book club. So basically what this is you go to like a cafe or brewery or whatever location they've assigned, and you go get like a little drink or whatever in the first 30 minutes, kind of settle down, figure out where you're going to sit, who you're going to sit with. And then you sit in silence with a bunch of people for an hour, and everyone's reading whatever book they're reading. And then after the hour's done, you can either leave or you can stay around and chat with people about books. And when I heard that concept, I was like, this sounds like the most amazing thing ever. I love it so much. So I've been keeping track of the different chapters around my area and looking at which ones would fit my schedule best. And so there was one yesterday, and I had so much fun, and I feel like I made some new friends, and I'll definitely be going to another one. And surprisingly, I feel like I wasn't particularly nervous to go because the stakes were so low, because everything is so optional. You could just be like, okay, I have to leave after you read your book. But also if you see people reading books that you're into, then you can talk to them about the books. And so it's just so nice, and I'm definitely going to be going again. I went by myself this time, but I am trying to spread the word about it, so maybe I'll bring some friends next time. So these are things that I am going to try to be mindful of going forward into this next month. And truly, number one on my list is to find a way to make me not procrastinate editing YouTube videos, because I feel like I can film videos all day long. I'm totally fine and have fun filming. The editing part is where I struggle. And once I am actually doing the editing, I feel like I can zone in and I get into it and it's not a problem. But it is the lead up into talking myself into actually starting editing. I don't really know what the mental block is there. Probably has to do with the ADHD. Classic, my whole life, that's how it is. So I feel like I have to find a way to trick my brain, do one of those little ADHD tricks where I have to pair it with something that's exciting. But the problem is that I often like listening to things or watching things, and that's usually how I get myself to do other things. I'll do dishes and listen to an audiobook or something. But for editing videos, I can't listen to anything because I need to be listening to the video. So I don't really know what to use to motivate myself. So if you have any ideas, let me know. Also, I feel like I need to probably just take some time to learn how to speed up the process, because right now I'm just going with the basic information I know of how to edit. And I definitely want to schedule a handful of videos, and I want to use the time when those videos are being published over a month or something, really get into figuring out how to optimize my editing, because I know for a fact I'm taking way too long, because I know there's probably shortcuts and a million things that I don't know what I'm doing. So it's one of those things, you don't know what you don't know, but I do know that I can improve. So I want to be mindful of trying to hype myself up for editing. A lot of the stuff on this improvements list is really stuff that everyone tells you should do, and I just don't do them. So but if I keep putting them on my improvements list, then maybe one time they'll be on my accomplishments list, Fingers crossed on that one. I also need to be mindful of my water drinking. And I literally just looked to be oh, let me go ahead and drink water right now. And I don't have my water bottle with me. Normally I have my water bottle with me everywhere, even if I'm not drinking it. I'm fully one of those emotional support water bottle people where I bring it everywhere with me just in case I'm thirsty, but it never crosses my mind that I am thirsty until I'm dying of thirst. I'm parched and I'm holy shit, I need to chug this. But by then it's bad. I really should be just regularly drinking water, and it just doesn't cross my mind. So once again, something I need to try to be more mindful of. And then just in general, the mindfulness, I would like to try to meditate a little bit. I used to do a little bit of meditative practice a few years back, and I did really notice it helped. Most of the time I felt like I needed it when I was going from something fun to something serious, or just like in general having to do something that I was maybe not hyped up on. So maybe I need to do it before editing, but it really helped me change like my mindset, because I can focus on the task or the mindset that I want to be in for the thing that I'm about to do. So I really would like to try to make that a thing again, but it's hard to be mindful of being mindful. So it's just a self-care thing, but one step at a time. I'll try and do just a little bits. I'm not trying to go too hard into it right now. And as with most people, my social media usage is a little bad right now. I feel like I go in and out of periods of time where I have way too many screen hours, because I'll be like really good about it, and then I'm like, oh my god, I've been so good about it lately, so I can maybe like push it just a little bit, and then I give myself an inch, I take up a mile. Okay, I know this about myself and I need to stop doing it, but once again, I'm not trying to be self-aware 100% of the time. Sometimes I just want to be a little bit of a zombie, but if I tell myself that too much, then the addiction starts, and it's not good. My brain is like, give me more lights of things that are pretty, please. And I'm like, I really should do something else that's, you know, beneficial for like my overall health, but we can watch some TikTok right now. So ideally, I would really like to try to swap some of my screen time with reading time, because I just always have more things I want to read. I just need to think of that every time I'm staring at a screen. I just need to repeat in my head over and over, I could be reading right now. I could be reading right now. And maybe that will work. Maybe. This ties into the social media usage, which is sleeping earlier. I've gotten pretty good about waking up at a reasonable time, because I will sleep in. Don't tempt me. I will sleep the fuck in, okay? But just because I've been waking up earlier doesn't mean I've been going to sleep earlier, so I think I've just been getting less sleep, so that's not ideal. So I need to try to make myself go to bed earlier, but I am such a night owl, it's so hard. Right now it is, what time is it right now? Oh, my watch is dead, fun. It is 1 o'clock in the morning. Classic. So I will be going to sleep as soon as I finish this video, hopefully. This is really not a good way to start a reset, is it? But that's why I said improvements. It's just the beginning of the month. By the end of the month, maybe I'll be better. You have to root for me, because I only have me to root for me. Actually, I have my husband too. But I will say that sometimes the reading may also hinder me from going to bed early, because if I get into a book, that I'm gone. I will be staying awake until that book is finished, and it's not good. But I love a good story. I just love a good story. And finally, we have reached the part of the video where I'm just talking about my general goals for March. Things that I'm hoping I can check off my list on the next check-in video, okay? Number 1, find a groove of filming, editing, and scheduling videos for the next month. So, I have a bunch filmed, so like I was saying before, I need to find a groove, find something that works for me in the editing, and then also have them scheduled out. Because ideally, I would like to get in a groove of batch creating content, batch editing, and then being able to schedule out a bunch of videos for like a month, and then use that month to like do a little like short form content stuff, or planning other social medias, or work on a maybe longer video, or a video that requires a little bit more effort. So I have some like crafting videos and things that I really want to do, and I think that those would take almost like a week or so to be able to actually do, versus some of these like ones that I'm just talking to the camera, which I can do in a day. Maybe one day I script, next day I do the video. So find a groove. And number 2, more crafting. So I've kind of fallen off my cosplay crafting a little bit, and I do have some events coming up, and I don't want to fully get rid of cosplay in my life, so I would like to just remind myself to craft a little bit. And then also I'm going to be making some like videos about crafting, specifically usually like book crafts and things. So yeah. Number 3 is to add a cozy gaming day to my streaming schedule. So I mainly co-work right now, like almost all of my streams are co-working, but I miss my gaming streams. I might have to get rid of a co-working day to add in a gaming day, but I'm totally fine with doing that, because I just don't want to overwhelm myself and stream 5 days a week because then I know that I will get overwhelmed. So I need to find a healthy balance there. But I will be posting some smaller cozy gaming videos on this channel as well if you guys are interested in that. Number 4, set up some kind of multi-streaming. So I've seen a lot of people stream to TikTok while they're streaming on Twitch. And so I feel like I just want to try to set that up. If I'm already streaming, might as well stream somewhere else. So number 5 is to sign up for some future markets or cons. I would ideally try to do one every like other month, maybe. If I can swing it maybe once a month, but that seems like a little bit much with also trying to like balance this. So yeah, I just want to sign up for some in the future because they definitely, you need to kind of be ahead of the game on those. So 6, make some small changes in my office, aka like small setups for my redesign. I'm going to be redesigning / moving around and crafting a bunch of stuff for this space, which will be a whole video on its own eventually, but I want to start getting some gears moving on that. Number 7, get a lav mic because I have been doing a little bit of filming outside of this particular spot. And I do have like a general microphone on that camera, but I definitely am talking a lot. So if I'm out and about, then I would like a little microphone, like a little lav that I can just, you know. Number 8, take some cozy photos and videos for social media. I am incorporating a little bit more lifestyle content into my Instagram, and I just don't have a large like backlog of that stuff. I have a backlog of cosplay, but not as much of just lifestyle things. So I would like to try to create a backlog. Number 9 is get even a marginally better lighting setup. Right now, my lighting is just like a crazy Mod Podge of things. So I would definitely like to have something a little bit more consistent and a little bit more easy to manage because it's a mess right now, honestly. I do want to let you guys in on some of my favorite things this month. So things like media, food, all that good stuff. So first on the list is my favorite book that I read this month, and that would be Two Twisted Crowns, which is the second book in the Shepherd King duology, and the first book being One Dark Window. And everyone needs to read these books. If you like some fantasy, dark romance kind of vibes, then I would highly recommend it. I loved it. The second book was better than the first, which often doesn't happen for me. So that's really great. If you want to see much more of a breakdown of all the books that I read this month and books that I want to read next month, then I have a whole separate video for that. So go check that out. Next is my favorite shows from this month, and I have been nonstop talking about A Sign of Affection. It is the cutest little anime, maybe of all time, but also I say that with all the recency bias in my heart. She loves it too. When I tell you that this anime is gorgeous and it's just so cute, it's about a deaf girl who meets a guy who is like very into like languages and stuff. So this is like his first time interacting with someone who mainly knows sign language or doesn't communicate via like speech language, and they're just both so intrigued by each other, and it's so cute. Oh my god, it's so cute. So cute. So if you are into shoujo anime, then go check it out. Even if you're not into shoujo anime, then get over yourself and enjoy a little bit of fun, little butterflies and lightheartedness, okay? Just stop being so serious. And in that same vein, another show is Pokemon Concierge on Netflix. And I'm not like a huge Pokemon girl in terms of like the video games. I have never finished any of them, but I do like the little side games like the Pokemon Go, Pokemon Snap, Pokemon Stadium, all the little side Pokemon games. I eat it up. Main Pokemon games, it's just not for me. Nothing against it, but I love the concept of Pokemon though, like the animals, you know? So Pokemon Concierge is perfect. Also, absolutely adorable. So it's made by the same studio who made the little Rilakkuma show. I don't know if you know about the Rilakkuma show. Rilakkuma is this little bear. He's so cute. I love Rilakkuma, and it is like a stop motion studio, and it's like a mix of like some claymation as well as like some like felt creatures and just like a whole bunch of stuff, and it's so cute. The animation is amazing. So I already loved the Rilakuma show because it was just so comfy, cozy, and I was obsessed. So Pokemon Concierge is the same vibes because it's the same like art style and also very cozy, comfy. Oh my gosh, I love it. Next, my favorite game this month is Teamfight Tactics. Unfortunately, I haven't had very much time to do gaming because I've been trying to get my life together so I could dedicate more time to YouTube and stuff. So I haven't had as much gaming time as I would like. My default game that I just do on my downtime a lot is Teamfight Tactics. I do not play normal League of Legends, but I love Teamfight Tactics. It definitely feels like a cuter version of League of Legends and definitely easier because League of Legends is too much too much. So I love TFT, even though I'm not typically like a card game kind of person, even though it's not really card game, like it's a weird mix. So I am really glad that I have TFT. And my favorite movie this month is nothing. Once again, like I said, I was busy. I didn't play any games. I also didn't watch any movies. Insane of me, actually, because I really want to watch a bunch of the movies that are nominated for Oscars, and I haven't gotten around to it. Hopefully, in my next checkup next month, I will have a lot of movies to choose from because I will hopefully have been watching a bunch of the Oscar-nominated movies, even though when even airs the Oscars? It's so soon, isn't it? When are the Oscars? Yeah, it's in like a week and a half. So screw me. My favorite podcast this month was Don't Tell Anyone with Pokimane. I love Pokimane so much. She's always been someone that I've looked up to so much in the gaming space. So I'm so glad that she has a little podcast now. I definitely am not on the top of my podcast listening game. There have been definitely times in my life where I'm like nonstop listening to podcasts, but since I've gotten much more on the audiobook train, I've been balancing a little bit of podcast with audiobook. Normally audiobook wins over, but I've been trying to make some time for podcast stuff. So Pokimane's podcast is like top of that list. And my favorite program this month is Notion. I know like lots of people use Notion, and I've tried to use Notion a couple of times before, and I just couldn't get into the groove of it. But I have like found some like simple-ish templates that have been really working with me, or like templates that I got from like other YouTubers and stuff, and then I just like took out a whole bunch of stuff to simplify it down to some bones because I don't want it to be too complicated. And then maybe once I get more comfortable with it, then I'm going to add on, because I'm already getting very comfortable in like the little situation I have now on Notion. So I'm really, really excited to like learn more about Notion and like help me, okay? Because it has been helping, okay? It helps me keep everything organized, and my little brain needs all of it out of my brain, because if it stays in here, it gets too jumbled and it just needs to be spat out onto something, and I'm trying to make Notion be that thing. My favorite drink this month is instant coffee. I am impatient, so I mix some instant coffee. I put a little bit of hot cocoa powder in there too. Some would call it a mocha, maybe, even though it's probably most people actually wouldn't call it a mocha, because that's probably like blasphemous to like coffee culture, because it's not like using espresso or whatever, however you make a latte. Before I knew what a mocha was in my life, when I was younger, I used to call it hot coffee. So I've just gone back to my roots. It's very quick and it's yummy, and it's saving me money. I will need to eventually transition the skill into learning how to make some good instant iced coffee, because right now I don't want to water down my instant coffee more by adding ice to it, unless I just make it like highly concentrated and then add the ice, but then I have to wait until the ice is melted. It's just like too complicated. So I definitely need to watch some videos online for like making really good instant iced coffee. I'm sure it's a thing. Next, my favorite food has been bagels, okay? Literally nothing fancy. It's just a Thomas everything bagel with some Philadelphia cream cheese. Yeah, I've been vibing with bagels. Maybe it's just like a hyperfixation food right now, but I'm vibing. I'm hardcore vibing. It's nothing. I'm not like introducing you to anything crazy new. I'm just maybe like reminding you that bagels exist in case you haven't had a bagel in a while. They're pretty good. So same thing with the snacks. My favorite snacks, apples. I don't know if you thought about apples in a while, or if you've had some fruit lately, but it's really quick and pretty nutritious. And yeah, my top of mind things are just like quick things that don't have like insane amount of like bad things in them. So apples. My favorite song. My favorite song this month. You know it's gotta be Texas Hold'em by Beyonce. Oh, I've been listening to that song. Oh, I've been listening to that song. I've technically been listening to that song and Nothing You Can Take From Me by Rachel Ziegler from the Hunger Games, A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes movie. That soundtrack to that movie is amazing. Book is amazing. Movie's amazing. Soundtrack to the movie, amazing. Love it. The Hunger Games song and the Beyonce song are like a specific type of like country type of music that I like, because I don't typically like country music, but there's something that they put in those songs. I want to listen to it every day, and I do. I have a playlist with just those two songs on it called Boot Stompin', because the title of the Hunger Games song on Spotify in parentheses has Boot Stompin'. I don't know why. I don't know if there's two versions and one is not Boot Stompin' and one is, but I like the Boot Stompin' version, and so I have a playlist called Boot Stompin'. I have that song and I have the Beyonce song. And I do like 16 Carriages as well by Beyonce, but it's not boot stomping, you know? It's gotta make you dance and stomp your boots, you know? So I haven't found anything that quite qualifies in my mind as boot stomping, you know? So if you have any recommendations, please let me know. And also, if you haven't listened to the new Beyonce songs, you need to go do that, like immediately. I'll wait. Okay, if you didn't go do it, then you're just an enemy to yourself. So I can't help you. My favorite creator this month, 100%, is another YouTuber called Hindsight. And he makes these like really good advice and like mindful like videos about creativity and just like kind of going for your dreams and motivation. And the way he like talks about things, first of all, he's like super chill. And then also like the way he words things, even though it's like advice that I've definitely heard before, but he like word it differently or like put it into another perspective or like put it into a different metaphor. And it just like clicks just the right way in my brain. And it's amazing. So if you need a little bit of like motivation or pick me up or just like some good life advice, check out Hindsight. Please, 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 please. And last on the list of favorites is my favorite artist this month. And it is greenfinchg_illustration on Instagram. And I found them because they have the most beautiful fan art of the book, my favorite book that I was talking about earlier, The Two Twisted Crowns. I was looking for fan art because that's what I do when I finish books. I'm like, I must see all the fan art. And I found this fan art, and it just like really encapsulates like the way that the characters are like positioned and everything, and the style of the art is just like so beautiful, and I'm a sucker for it. I love it so much. So definitely go check out that artist, okay? And that concludes my favorites for this month. In the coming months, I would like to maybe have like some like home things or decor or whatever, but I haven't been doing much or spending much money on any decor stuff, so I don't really have anything for you this month. Thank you so much for watching this video. I appreciate you so much. Let me know if there's anything that you're proud of yourself for doing this past month, and then also let me know about like a goal that you have for the next month. I'd love to hear it. I'd love to cheer you on. So get down there, let me know. I'd love it if you liked the video, and also maybe hit the subscribe button as well. And I'll see you in the next videos, and definitely for the next checkup, right? Right? Yes. Okay. Good. Bye-bye. Munchkin, do you have something to say? Do you have something to say? I know you have something to say.